Liverpool fans, this is Ahmet back again with another video for the upcoming Crystal Palace game, which is going to be played on Saturday, the 31st of March, at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace's ground. It's an early kickoff, I think, 12:30. So we need to be up for it. It's been 2 weeks roughly since the international break started, and we get back into the league action on Saturday, and we need to be ready for it, because we've got a massive, 2 weeks coming up now, which entails, we've got Crystal Palace, and then we've got Man City in the Champions League quarter-final. After that, I think we go to Goodison Park again the following weekend, and then straight after that, a couple of days later, 3 or 4 days later, we play Man City again at the Etihad for the second leg of the Champions League quarter-final. Yeah, I was going to make a video earlier, but as I told you, we've got the international break. We had the international break, so I didn't really want to say anything. I didn't really want to speak until all our players have come back to the squad, back to Liverpool, because we didn't know who's going to be fit, who's going to be coming back into the squad, or who's going to be missing, and this and that. So I wanted to wait until the last couple of days before the match, basically, to see what's going on with all the players returning back to Liverpool. And yeah, it seems like everyone's returned relatively unscathed, apart from Joe Gomez, who picked up an injury with England. Typical. Every player that goes to England, or any Liverpool players that go to the England national team, they end up coming back injured, some of them. This is always the case. It has been for the past, God knows how many years. Every time we send a few players away for international duty, at least one or two of them come back with a knock or an injury, So anyway, Gomez hasn't really been in the team that often, recently. So it's not really that much of a big miss for Liverpool, with the youngster, Trent Alexander-Arnold taking his place and doing well. I have to say he's done well until now. Apart from the Manchester United game, where he made a couple of mistakes, and I think another match where he didn't play well. But apart from that, he's done relatively well, for a young player, a young unproven player. He's done well in the team. He's adapted. He's gotten used to playing with the players around him, the players in defence, and he can also go forwards and getting across, getting valuable crosses, and also score goals. I think he's scored a couple of goals as well since he's come onto the scene this season. He's scored a couple of goals. So yeah, we go to Crystal Palace on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff, and we're going to be in for a very tough match. Palace are not doing well. They're down there, near the bottom of the table, but I think they're only 2 points above the relegation zone. But they have some good players, and they have players that have played for Liverpool as well. So that's going to be tough for us. Players like Sakho and Benteke, who actually, were our players a couple of seasons ago. So we need to be wary of that, and we need to make sure that we start the game quickly. We need to make sure that we start the game on the front foot and try and take the lead in the first half, because these early kickoffs, they tend to be slow affairs, and it takes the players a bit of time to get used to the match, especially now that we're coming back after the international break. It's going to be a bit of a, and the players' minds are going to be on the Manchester City game, the Champions League game. So we need to go into the game full of confidence, as we were before the teams broke up for international duty. We were on fire, Salah had scored 4 against Watford, and we were brushing teams away with ease. So we need to be on the same level of performance when we come back on Saturday. And yeah, it's Roy Hodgson, isn't it? Roy Hodgson factor again. Since he's left Liverpool, we're going to be meeting him again as manager of Crystal Palace, and he will want to get one over Liverpool. He'll want to pay Liverpool back, So, and the fact that his team is down near the relegation zone, so they need the points. They're going to be right up for it. They're going to be, wanting to beat us on Saturday. So there's no complacency. We can't afford to be complacent. We can't afford to be, lackadaisical. We can't, play the game slowly. We have to be on it from the first minute and make sure that we attack them and get the goal. If we get the early goal, I think they're going to start panicking, Palace, especially because they're playing at home as well. The fans are going to start to, get on their backs. And when they concede that first goal, they're going to start, panicking, start rushing, passes and start making mistakes basically all over the pitch. And Liverpool are the perfect team to exploit that, with the players we've got, the Mane, Firmino and Salah up front. We can take them apart. We can destroy them, It's just a matter of how much their mind is on the Manchester City game. They need to concentrate on this league game because this is very important. Because the following day, I think Chelsea and Tottenham meet. They play at Wembley, is it, or Stamford Bridge? I'm not sure, but I think it's at Stamford Bridge. So if Tottenham lose that game to Chelsea and we win against Palace, then even Tottenham will be behind Liverpool. They'll be, I think, 5 points behind us, and with only 6 games to play after that. So we'd virtually have top 4, wrapped up, and we can just concentrate fully on the Champions League. The following week we play Everton at Goodison Park, but this is even more important. We need to make sure that we don't lose this game against Palace because in the past, they have been a bogey team to us, even at Anfield. I think last season they beat us at Anfield, and it was our former player, Christian Benteke. Of all players, Benteke scored 2 goals against us at Anfield when we'd taken the lead. I think it was a magnificent free kick goal from Coutinho. Yeah, he put us into the lead, and then right on the stroke of half time, I think they got an equaliser. And then in the second half, towards the end of the game, I think about 15 minutes ago, they got a corner. The corner was, crossed into our area, and I think it bypassed about 2 or 3 players in defence, and Benteke was on his own again, and he just put it into the empty net. So we lost the game on our way to Champions League qualification again. This time we have to make sure that we take it seriously, and we have to make sure that we beat them. And we put in a statement to Manchester City for the Champions League game at Anfield, which is going to be played on the 4th, I think. And the 4th of April is a Wednesday. Yeah, it's on a Wednesday. So we have to make sure that we get past the game unscathed. Don't pick up any injuries, and don't tire out our main players. They need to be, fit and fresh for the Man City game on Wednesday. So if we can win the game in the first half, get a couple of goals and just contain them in the second half. We don't even need to, extend ourselves in the second half. Just keep the ball, just pass it around, and just, waste time, basically. And if we can get another goal, get another goal. But, just the main thing of it is to finish the game in the first half. Go out there from the beginning, attack them, attack their weak points, and just get the goals, finish them off. So yeah, I wanted to make this preview video before the game, which is on Saturday, and it's just been totally boring. It's just been the last 2 weeks has just been bypassed us really. Nothing's going on. These meaningless international friendly matches where there's no benefit even to the national players. There's no benefit to anybody really, but it's just part of the the FIFA, the FIFA calendar or the UEFA calendar, where these games have to be played. So anyway, it is what it is really. I mean, it's just preparation for the World Cup, but there's still 3 months to go, so the players can get that preparation from playing for their clubs. They don't even have to play for the national teams. And to think that some clubs are going to lose their main players through injury because of these meaningless international games. It's just ridiculous. It really is. I mean, they need to find a solution to this because right at the most important part of the season, the clubs' seasons, they have these international friendly games, and there's no benefit to anybody. So why are we playing them? Why are we sending our players halfway across the world for meaningless friendly matches, and then they become fatigued or they get injured, God forbid, and then you're left in the shits basically because you have to find another player to put into your team, another couple of players, when there's no need for it. It's not as if these are international tournaments. These are just preparation matches and they could be played at another time. You know, maybe just as soon as the season ends in the middle of May, and I think there's still about a month until the World Cup, so they can play the games then. They don't even need to play now, but it is what it is, you know, and we just have to get on with it. And thankfully, as I said at the beginning of the video, I don't think we've picked up any injuries apart from the Joe Gomez, and we can replace him with Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's been playing in his place anyway for virtually a month. And the good news is now we've got Nathaniel Klein coming back into full fitness. And I'm on the side of some, you know, analysts who say that Klein should come back into the team. Now, the fact that he hasn't played for a long time, that could be a bit of a disadvantage to Liverpool. But, you know, the experience that he brings to the team, to the defence, and also the pace that he has going forwards, he might not be the best with crosses, you know, or passes into the front players, but he can relieve the pressure on the defence. And the fact that he follows players, he doesn't allow them to get away from him on the side that he plays on, you know, the right side of the defence. Whereas Trent Alexander-Arnold is a good young prospect, but because of his lack of experience, sometimes he loses players, which was evident in the defeat to Manchester United, where he allowed, you know, Rashford to turn him in the area and get the shot away because he didn't expect Rashford to get the ball from Lukaku, and that only comes through experience. That only comes through, you know, learning how players play and what they can do to you, you know. So from that point of view, I think that Nathaniel Klein is the better player at the moment, but it's just his match fitness. He's not ready to come into the team, I don't think, at the moment, and I don't think Klopp's going to risk him. Maybe the game after, maybe against Everton in the derby, that's going to be even tougher. But I don't know. I mean, it depends on Klopp's thinking, what he's seen in defence, how he feels Klein has, you know, readapted to the team, and if he's fully fit, then he will decide whether to play him or not. But for me, I think he needs to start with Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then, you know, coming into the second half, maybe he needs to change him. Put Nathaniel Klein in for the final 20 minutes, 25 minutes or something. Give him a bit of time to, you know, have a run out in the team and to get his fitness up again. So apart from that, I mean, the team should be, you know, Karius in goal, either Trent or Klein in defence. I think Trent will take the right position, you know, on the right fullback basically, and then in centre back you'll have Virgil van Dijk. And I think Matip should come into the team. I don't want Lovren to play because as soon as Lovren makes a mistake, he just unsettles everybody, and the whole defence falls to pieces. And he's always liable to do it. You know, when he's put under pressure, or there's long balls coming into the area, being crossed into his area of the pitch, he could always, you know, make a mistake again, and we concede goals, and we don't want that to happen just before the Manchester City game. So I think it's better if Matip comes in to replace him. And then on the other side, on the left side, you'll have Robertson, of course, in the left side of the defence, the left back basically. Midfield, we should play, I feel, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Henderson, and Wijnaldum, because Jan, I think he picked up a little niggle in the Germany national team, so there's no point in risking him for the Crystal Palace game. You know, keep him for the Manchester City game, where I think he can affect the game more at Anfield. It's a home game, so I think that he will play better at Anfield as opposed to playing away from home. So I would have Henderson, Oxlade-Chamberlain, and Wijnaldum in the midfield three, and then of course you've got the mighty three, the Fab Three, which is Mane, Salah, and Firmino up front basically, and. Yeah, we need to take the game seriously. We need to make sure that we get an early goal if we can, maybe in the first 10-15 minutes. That will really unsettle Crystal Palace, and it will really, you know, make them panic. And if they start to play open football, if they start to play expansive football, you know, trying to use Zaha and Townsend to get in behind us, then we can take them apart. You know, we can destroy them with our pace and quality players up front. We can beat them easily in the first half. And then the second half, as I said, just contain the game management. We need to be clever. We need to make sure that we don't pick up any injuries and don't overdo it. Don't get too tired so that you're fresh for the Manchester City game, which is a massive game on Wednesday. This game could, determine whether we win the Champions League or not, the European Cup. Because if we get past Man City, that trophy has Liverpool's name on it. I'm telling you. If we can knock City out, then I think the other teams will start to be frightened of Liverpool. They'll start to fear Liverpool. They already do fear Liverpool, but if they knock out Manchester City, who are supposed to be the best team in England this season, they are the best team. Then that will be a massive statement, to the rest of Europe, saying that Liverpool want to win the European Cup. They're in for it. They're in the race and they want to win it. And so it can only be a good thing beating Manchester City. And then of course next weekend we have the derby. We call it the derby, but it's been the Liverpool, victory parade for the last God knows how many years. I don't think Everton have beaten us for God knows how long now. I think 5 or 6 years, is it? Can't remember the last time they beat us, but so we need to make sure that we take it seriously. These next couple of weeks are going to be very, very important for our season, for the back end of the season, the last couple of games. And if we finish in the top 4, it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter if we finish from second down to 4th, because I think UEFA said that 4 teams from England will qualify automatically for the Champions League. So it's not really that important anymore whether we finish second or 4th. But we want to finish as high up as we can, because to put the pressure on Man City for next season, to put that bit of doubt in their minds that Liverpool are going to be there again next season. They're going to be challenging. They're going to be challenging Manchester City for the Championship, for the title again. So yeah, we need to do it. We've got the players, we've got the squad. So now they just need to be ready for the final push, basically, and go out there with the same intensity, the same mindset, the same ambition to win the game, win the games, get the 3 points and finish as high up as you can in the league. Yeah, and then we've got the World Cup, of course, from the middle of June until the middle of July. So about a month of the World Cup. And as soon as that finishes, we start to prepare for the new Premier League season, which starts at the beginning of August, I think, the first week of August. So it's not too long, The time is going to fly by. The time is going to fly by with the World Cup, and there's going to be many matches in that. Hopefully our players can showcase their quality, but that's the thing. I mean, Mo Salah, I don't want him to be too good with Egypt. I know that it's a bit of a selfish thing, but the thought that I have is if he plays very well for Egypt in the World Cup and he scores 2 or 3 goals, then I think that will just intensify him leaving Liverpool, which is a disaster for us. I don't want it to happen, God forbid. But if the big teams start to sniff around, and if they start to put inquiries in for Mo Salah, then we're in trouble, because we don't want to lose him after one season, man. He's been phenomenal, this season. 36 goals and 10 assists in his first season at Liverpool, So he's contributed to 46 goals of the 73 goals we've scored. I think he's contributed to 46 of those goals on his own. One player. That's half the goals, more than half the goals. So imagine what kind of season he's had. He's had a phenomenal season for Liverpool, and the eyes are on him. The eyes of the world are on Mohamed Salah at the moment, and we need to. We need to make sure that we don't lose him. We need to keep him until next season at least, and then if he can win us the Champions League this season, what a season that will be! It'll be phenomenal. Mohamed Salah, helping Liverpool win the Champions League for a 6th time and scoring all those goals. It'll be outstanding, and we can build on that next season if we can keep him here, and then just add a couple of more players. I think Keita's already coming in from last season. Yeah, we've already signed him, so he's definitely coming into the midfield. And then if we can get another defender and maybe a winger in the like of Julian Draxler to play on the wing, then we will have a great team, an outstanding team. to go into next season to push for the Premier League title, you know. And so it's all down to the owners. It's all down to FSG basically. They have to make sure that they keep him here at Liverpool. They have to give him a good contract, you know, a long contract, but also a well-paid contract that has the intent to keep him at Liverpool. You know, that we value you very highly, and we want to see you remain at the club for many years to carry Liverpool on to even bigger success. You know, winning the Premier League title or winning other European trophies in the following seasons. You know, so we wait and see what FSG are going to do. You know, in the summer, but you never know with these Americans, with these Yankees, because they were saying the same things about Coutinho last season, and look what happened in the end. So Jurgen Klopp, as the manager, needs to make sure that he tells them that we need Mohamed Salah. We cannot afford to sell him. He's integral to what Liverpool are doing now. He's integral to how we play, and we need him in the team. We can't afford to lose these kind of players. You know, we've already lost Coutinho. All right, we've had Salah this season, so it was not a major blow for Liverpool. But if you lose Salah as well, God forbid, then imagine what's going to happen next season to Liverpool. You know, we could lose a lot of goals. We could lose a lot of the way we play football going forwards. We could lose that rhythm, you know, that fluency with Firmino and Mane, and then you'd have to find somebody else to fill in the void, and it's not going to be easy. You know, especially in a World Cup year, the players' prices are going to be inflated. We're not likely to buy anybody. You know, it's going to be very tough to buy anybody else. They're talking about Timo Werner, the German player. Now, don't get me wrong, he's a good striker, and he's played well in Germany for Leipzig, and for the German national team. I think he's played a few games now. Yeah, so he's a good player, but he's not. I don't think he's as good as Salah. I really don't. I don't think he's on the same level as Salah. And by the time he comes into Liverpool, if we buy him in the summer, it's going to take him a couple of months, 2 or 3 months to adapt to the team and to get used to the way we play football. Because in Leipzig, he plays completely differently, you know, to what he's going to be playing in the Premier League. And yeah, so he's a good prospect. I mean, he could be a good finisher for Liverpool, a good striker, but it's always better to keep your good players and then just add on to it. You know, just add a couple of players, 2 or 3 players, and Liverpool will be flying, you know. If we don't pick up any injuries and we don't pick up any, we don't sell our best players as we have done in the past, then it's looking good for the coming seasons, you know. For the next 3 or 4 seasons, it's looking like we're going to be successful again. We're going to start winning cups again, start doing well in the league again. So, yeah, we can only pray and hope, you know, hope and pray, and see what the summer's going to bring us, you know. So that's about it, Liverpool fans. I just wanted to preview the Crystal Palace game and the upcoming Champions League game against Manchester City. First leg at Anfield. We need to get a lead to take back to the Etihad because, you know, we cannot afford to concede a goal at Anfield in the first leg. We need to make sure that we win it, you know, 2-0, or if we can, 3-1. 3-1 will set us up very nicely because they will think that they can get back into the game at the Etihad. So they're going to attack us. But with the quality we've got going forwards, the likes of Mane, Salah, Firmino, you know, and even Oxlade-Chamberlain or Lallana if he comes into the team, we can unlock them in the second leg. We can cause them havoc and score goals at the Etihad because we've done it before. We've done it in the 15-16 season. We scored 4 against them at the Etihad. And then, you know, last season we got a draw there, a 1-1 draw. This season we lost heavily, but that was only down to the fact that we had Sadio Mane sent off when the score was 1-0. And of course the second half turned into a capitulation. But this is Manchester City and they've run away with the league. So, you know, they've done it to many teams this season. We can't be that disheartened, you know, that we lost that game at the beginning of the season because they've run away with the league. They've deserved to win it, you know, and they've been the best team in the country. But now for the Champions League, for the European Cup, we can knock them out, and we can really put a dent in their armour basically, and tell them that Liverpool are the best team in England who plays in Europe. So apparent to them, you know, make them notice Liverpool, and that will psychologically, that will affect them for next season as well. When they think back to, you know, being knocked out of the Champions League by Liverpool, then even in the league campaign next year, that will set us up nicely. You know, that will make them have doubts about Liverpool. You know, beating Liverpool or getting a good result against Liverpool, and they'll be frightened of us. So it's looking good, Liverpool fans. It's looking very good. Hopefully, we finish the season very well, you know, and hopefully we could get into the Champions League final, you know, and win the trophy, and that'll be an outstanding season for us. I think Klopp will just, it will be even more of an idol than he was at the beginning of his tenure at Liverpool. He'll be more of a legend that he has been in the past 3 years. If he wins the European Cup, his status will just rocket into the sky, you know. He'll be one of the best managers in Liverpool's history. And next season we can go on and win the title. If we win the European Cup this summer, I predict that next season we will go on to win the Premier League with that energy, with that confidence from winning the European Cup. It's bound to have a knock-on effect for Liverpool, and it will set us up very nicely for the league campaign. You know, the 2018-2019 season, and if we get a good fixture list for the beginning of the season, next season, and we have relatively winnable games at the beginning, and we win those games, and we go to the top of the table, then it's looking great for Liverpool. We could win the title next year. I'm telling you, there's no team out there that can stop us apart from Man City. You know, Chelsea are falling away. They're not looking good. They're going to sell players as well in the summer, I'm hearing, so they'll probably lose strength as well. Manchester United, they play anti-football. They're not a good team, I don't think. And although they pick up victories sometimes, they're not a very good team. They don't play good football. And I don't think they can challenge for the title. Arsenal, nowhere to be seen. Tottenham, of course. But Tottenham, if they sell Harry Kane, then that's the end of Tottenham. I don't see them winning anything or being successful in anything from now on. So, or if they lose a player to injury, then they've lost Kane now. It's going to affect them. We see what kind of effect it has on them until the end of the season. But I don't see them as a threat for the title next year. I really don't. You know, they always big Tottenham up at the beginning of the season, and then they end up falling away. They end up crumbling. So they've got a weak mentality as well. As soon as they lose a couple of games, they give up. You know, they fall away. And yeah, so we go into next season full of confidence. If we can do it, if we can achieve this massive goal that we set ourselves of winning the Champions League trophy in Kiev, then imagine what's going to happen next season. Just imagine what we can achieve. Even bigger success, even bigger trophies. You know, the Premier League, the domestic cups, everything really. We should go for everything next season. All the trophies. If we can just bring in a couple of more players into the squads, then nothing can really stop Liverpool. You know, it's going to be back to the glory days, back to the good old days that we've missed for so long. And we need to make sure that we get back to it, because in time, a team is forgotten. Doesn't matter what you've done in the past. You know, the past, as they say, is history. The future is more important. We need to make sure that we're the team of the future. We're the team that's going to be successful from now on. That's what will make Liverpool fans happy. Of course, we're proud. We've got the passion for what we've done in the past, but we can't keep going back to the past. We can't keep referencing, you know, we've won this many league titles. We've won this many European Cups, FA Cups. It doesn't mean anything anymore, because, you know, you're not winning anything in the present, are you? In the future. So it doesn't really mean anything anymore. It's just videos on the YouTube. That's it. You know, we're going back to the old times and watching the old victories, the old trophies we've won. But we want to watch highlights of what we've won now in the present or in the future. So this will make Liverpool fans even more confident, and it will push us on to support the team even better, and in turn it will make them even more successful. You know, it will make them hungry to become successful, to win even more trophies in the future. And it could be another glorious 10 years or 15 years for Liverpool, as we did in the 80s and the 70s, you know. So yeah, we wait and see. We believe in Jurgen Klopp. If he just he plays players in position, and he makes the substitutions at the right time, as he has been doing this season. Relatively saying, this season he's made the right choices, more often than not. So compared to last season, after January, he seemed to lose it. He seemed to lose what he was doing. He seemed to not know what kind of tactics to play, how to set the team up, which players to play, and we lost our way from January until mid-February in about a 5-6 week period. And we went downhill, we went rapidly downhill from being top of the league. We dropped all the way down to 5th, and then we got ourselves back into the top 4, in the final, 4 or 5 games of the season. And thankfully, we managed to finish ahead of Arsenal. And yeah, so that's it, Liverpool fans. Thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel and to the video, and make your comments in the comment section below. Tell me your thoughts on the Crystal Palace game, your predictions, your lineup predictions and the score predictions, and what we're going to do against Manchester City, in the Champions League. I would like to hear your thoughts, your analysis on the game, and yeah. Up the Reds, basically, after the international break. We've had enough of this bloody international break. It's back to the main football, the Premier League football and the Champions League. So that's about it, Liverpool fans. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching the video, and hopefully we get the 3 points at Selhurst Park, and we can go into the City game full of confidence at Anfield, and we can dispatch them. We can put them away and show them who's the best team from England in Europe, which is always Liverpool. It has always been Liverpool, but it will continue to be Liverpool from now on. And City will have to wait another year, basically, to do what they're going to do in the Champions League. But we want to win it this season. We want to win that Champions League trophy, and we have to go out there and show everyone that we want to win it, and do what we can do. Do the best that we can do, and progress, basically, progress and get better season on season. And maybe next year we can win the Premier League title, I'm thinking, definitely. With a few more additions in the summer, there's no reason why Liverpool can't go on and win it. We are one of the best teams in the league. Surely we are, because the amount of goals we score, the football that we play, we should be right up there behind City. But because they've had such a great start to the season and they've done the work early, they ended up opening up a massive gap with the other teams, in the top 4. So this season is gone anyway. We congratulate Manchester City on their Premier League title, but we want to knock you out of the European Cup, City. So this is not your year, This is not your year in the Champions League. You'll have to wait another year. And thank you for watching, Liverpool fans. I'll talk to you later on, after the Crystal Palace game, maybe. See you later on.